Okay, so the Eagles just got some shocking news ahead of their matchup with the Jaguars, and it comes in multiple forms. Starting with the fact that a few key stars just surprisingly showed up on the injury report, and their status for the game could now be in question. Meanwhile, one insider just revealed that the reason for the Eagles' recent offensive changes is because multiple players had grown tired of the offense, and they spoke up. And judging by some recent comments that he made, it seems like Jalen Hurts could have been one of the guys calling for the changes. Plus, Doug Pederson is set to return to Philly, and he just had some interesting comments on Jalen Hurts, while Hurts also previewed the matchup with the Jags defense. So we're going to talk about that and all the other latest Eagles news starting right now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Philly Fan 21 channel. If you're new, I'm Evan and I cover all things Philadelphia Eagles. And we are just a couple days away from the Eagles matchup with the Jaguars in what is sure to be a very fun game, as the Birds have obviously been playing their best ball recently, with them of course being on a 3-game win streak, and they've really just gotten better with each passing game, and each win has looked more impressive than the last. So the hope is that the trend continues and the Eagles can really take it to the Jaguars this Sunday and have another really impressive all-around performance, where the offense continues to improve and play up to their potential, while the defense continues their recent stretch of dominance. Plus, the Eagles are also obviously going to be wearing their Kelly green jerseys in this one, which is just a little extra reason to be excited. And another reason to be excited is that the only Super Bowl winning coach in Philadelphia Eagles history will obviously be returning as well, as Doug Pederson will be back at the link for the second time now as the head coach of the Jags, with the first time being all the way back in Week 4 2022, which wound up being a win for Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts Eagles. And while we'll surely all be hoping for a similar result in this one, I still do think the fans gotta show Doug some love once again just for what he was able to accomplish back in the 2017 season. But this year so far hasn't nearly been the storybook season that year was for Doug Pederson, as the Jags are off to a rough 2-6 start, and neither side of the ball is playing well, despite some optimism heading into the season. And as he's set to return to Philly for the second time, he seems to be on the hot seat, so that just makes this matchup even more interesting. And near the top of Pederson's list of concerns for this one is going to be Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts, who he obviously spent time coaching in Hurts' rookie year, and who also has been playing some great football, and more importantly, clean football at that in recent weeks, as he hasn't turned the ball over since the Eagles' bye week in Week 5, while he also has just really started to get into a rhythm, and this past week against the Bengals, he was obviously phenomenal, so safe to say that Pederson and the Jags are going to have their work cut out for them, and Doug knows that, as he praised Jalen ahead of the matchup.
I think the challenge obviously is his, the ability to create plays, the ones that aren't there, and he makes them. He's really good outside the pocket. He's tough to bring down. He's strong, powerful. And he's improved so much in the passing game too. And he's obviously got some weapons around him. And it's just, again, another player that is playing with confidence. Again, they're kind of catching their stride from early in the season. When they had a couple losses there, but he makes it go. Offensively, and the challenge is to contain him if you can. It's a big, it's a zone run scheme with the RPO stuff and the ability to run the quarterback. So just got to stay disciplined and trust your eyes.
Hurts certainly does present a really big challenge for this Jaguars defense, especially just with the way he's been playing recently, and as I said yesterday, we're looking at a Jags defense that has just been awful against the pass this year, as they rank 31st in the league in that area, while allowing 271 pass yards per game and allowing an NFL high 17 passing touchdowns. So again, defending the pass certainly has not been their strong suit, and just overall defensively, they've just not been good, as they rank 29th in the league in total defense. But that didn't stop Jalen Hurts from praising the Jags defense when given the chance.
Well, I don't want to, they got great edge rushers. They got a great front seven. They got really good edge rushers. So that'll be a big challenge. They got two really good linebackers up front. I know they rotate a good bit, but 23 and 33, playing against those guys, they bring a speed and physicality element of physicality to the game, and in the back end, I think that'll be a huge challenge for us as well, because they're very sticky in coverage, very tight coverage. So we have to go out there and take advantage of try and win our one-on-ones.
The Jags do definitely have some talented players on the defensive side of the ball that the Eagles gotta watch out for, and obviously they can't just expect to go out there and have a great game. They still gotta prepare the same way and obviously remain focused, but again, this is still definitely a favorable matchup for Jalen Hurts and the Birds offense, and if they just continue to do what they've done over the past several weeks, then they should be just fine and have another impressive performance. And speaking of the Birds offense over the past several weeks, we've obviously seen the coaches make some pretty significant changes to the game plans and the types of plays that they're running, as we've seen things like more plays under center, more passes over the middle from Jalen Hurts, more pre-snap motion, more of a commitment to the run game, and much more play action. And all these changes have turned out to be positive as, like I said, the Birds offense has just been much better in recent weeks with these new changes, and NFL analyst Brian Baldinger actually just recently did a really interesting breakdown on the Birds offense in the Bengals game, and specifically the increased use of play action.
The big difference in his offense against Cincinnati was the use of play action passes to get the ball down the field and stop Jalen from holding the ball so long. Here, you see the linebackers frozen right here. Now, that allows hitch, step, throw. Like he's not holding the ball, all right? And he's getting the ball out to his receivers. You watch the linebackers here, Logan Wilson and Jermaine Pratt, okay? 55 and 57. Watch them both step up, okay? Ride, glide, now he pulls it, all right? Now, it's a double hitch here because he's got to sail it down the field 50 yards in the air to Devontae Smith off play action. All right, now you watch it right here. Here you go. That's Gainwell in the backfield right now. Here, same thing. Watch the linebackers here. All right, you can run all this ghost motion. All right, they step up now. 1, 2, hitch, throw. He's not holding the ball. In fact, the biggest pass came early in the game. And here it is. This is right here, Jalen's holding it. Now he's going to drop back, and he recognizes the coverage is Tampa 2. Logan Wilson running down the seam. The safety's widening. But all you have right here, really, with that middle linebacker is a high-low. You have AJ underneath and Devontae over the top. And they're high-low in that linebacker right there. And it's an easy read, really, for Jalen. He hits AJ right there, and then he turns it into a 29-yard gain. The use of play-action pass is something I think you're going to see a lot more of in the next week's game and going forward. Like, he's not going to hold it like he has been. He's going to get the ball out on time.
I don't think there's any question that using more play action has been a great thing for the Eagles offense. I mean, think about it. They have one of the best running backs in the entire NFL in Saquon Barkley, who presents a tremendous threat whenever he gets the ball in his hands. So if you fake handoffs to that guy, the defense is really going to have to key in on that just due to the threat that he is, and then that's going to allow Jalen Hurts to get the ball out of his hands quicker and get into a rhythm. And it also has a reverse effect as well, as once the play action gets going, the defense is going to be more hesitant to go after Barkley, and they're going to be a little bit more on their heels, so then the Eagles can turn around and run the ball and be a lot more effective there as well. And again, I think whether it's the play action or the higher usage of under center plays or any of the other changes that they've made, I think it's safe to say that these changes have worked out so far, as the Birds offense is now much more versatile and is capable of beating defenses in a higher multitude of ways than they have been in the past. And overall, they're just getting more out of the talent that they have, which is great to see. But then the question is, well, why all of a sudden now did the Eagles finally just decide to make these changes that the fan base and really everybody else has been clamoring for them to make for a long time? I mean, why didn't they do it earlier? Well, it seems like some players finally spoke up and it led to these changes. And don't worry, we're going to get into that and so much more in just a minute, but real quick, I do want to say, if you are enjoying this video and don't want to miss any other Eagles coverage or content just like this coming throughout the rest of this entire season, then make sure you guys subscribe and also really importantly, hit the notification bell so you know instantly when one of these videos is uploaded. Trust me, you guys are not going to want to miss any of the Eagles coverage I got coming on this channel throughout the entire season. I cover the Birds pretty much daily during the week leading into games, and if you guys want to stay up to date on all the latest news, then again, subscribe and turn on notifications, and also drop a like while you're at it because that really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to 600 likes on today's video. Now, with all that being said, let's get back into the video. So as I was saying, it seems like the Eagles players are what prompted a lot of the offensive changes in recent weeks, as in the comments of that post from Brian Baldinger that we went over earlier, a user by the name of Corey asked, quote, "Any idea why it took them 8 weeks to do this?" To which Baldy responded, quote, "A few guys were tired of the offense and spoke up." So that's obviously a huge development and explains a lot about why the offense has finally changed after all this time. Now, we don't know specifically who Baldy was talking about here, but it is likely that Lane Johnson could have possibly been one of them, as he is obviously close friends with Baldy and he gives him a lot of his information regarding the Eagles, so I'd have to imagine that Baldy at least heard this from Lane and that's where he got it from, and it wouldn't surprise me if Lane was in fact one of the guys who did speak up. And then in regards to Jalen Hurts, it seems like he could have possibly been somebody who proposed these changes as well, as on Wednesday, he was directly asked whether the changes were a result of him pushing for certain things, and his answer was very interesting.
Did you have any say in that? And you did mention pushing for certain things, and are we seeing the direct result of that now, playing well?
Yeah, no, I think not directly. It's a constant navigation from everyone. It's a constant navigation, everyone, and everyone has a voice in that, and the number one goal, I've told you my goals, and it doesn't really matter how it looks. It doesn't matter how it gets done. It's a matter of playing efficient ball and going out there and winning. And so we've been able to do that, over the course of the tenure here and in a number of different ways. And so, navigating what it's supposed to look like for this team this year, that's always a challenge. It's something that's going to be presented naturally, but you seem to find it at some point throughout the year with regardless who the coach is, regardless who's calling it in and who's out there. And so the most important thing is finding that at the right time, and we just want to continue to progress.
Yeah, so he basically said there that while he wasn't exactly the direct reason for these changes, he also didn't deny that he had some involvement in it, and he also said that everybody's involved and has some say in regards to the offense and how it's run. Now, is he talking about him and the coaches, or could he also be including other players in that? We don't know, but based on Baldy's comments, it certainly sounds like he could have been including some other players. But whether that's what Jalen was saying or not, and whether or not he's actually one of the guys who did speak up, which personally I think he probably did, this whole thing about the players speaking up is just very interesting, and whoever it was that did speak to the coaches, whether it's Jalen Hurts alone or Jalen Hurts and Lane Johnson or both of them and just a group of players, like whoever it was, they deserve a tremendous amount of credit for helping save this offense. And I also think Nick and the coaches deserve credit too for listening and actually making the changes, and now obviously they've been seeing the benefits of it as the changes have paid off. But now, getting to some big injury news for the Eagles and Jaguars ahead of their matchup, we got some interesting developments regarding a couple key players for each squad. And we'll start with the Jags, who had many important players listed on the first injury report of the week, but for the most part, the injury news they've gotten has been positive, as wide receiver Gabe Davis was back at practice to start the week, along with running back Travis Etienne, who Doug Pederson said he expects to return this week, and then probably most importantly, standout rookie wide receiver Brian Thomas Jr. was back at practice as well, and was limited with a chest injury that he suffered in their game this past week. But this is definitely good news for Thomas, as this injury was initially expected to keep him out for an extended period of time right after it happened, but then a little later Doug Pederson said Thomas was day-to-day, and now obviously he's out there practicing, so that's definitely a good sign for his availability on Sunday. And then also, as far as roster news goes, the Jaguars also did just make a significant trade, as they sent their starting left tackle Cam Robinson to the Minnesota Vikings, meaning that they'll have a new left tackle for this game. So that also definitely affects things and makes things a little bit tougher for the Jags offense. And then for the Eagles, they got some interesting and also surprising injury news as well. And we'll start off with the good stuff, being that right guard Mekhi Becton was back in limited fashion after missing last week's game with a concussion, so that's definitely a sign that he could possibly play this week. But after that, most of the Eagles' injury news isn't great, as Dallas Goedert was out once again to begin the week as he continues to deal with a hamstring injury, and Darius Slay was out after suffering a groin injury in the game against the Bengals. And then they also got two other surprise injuries to key guys, as defensive tackle Jalen Carter missed practice with a shoulder injury, and left guard Landon Dickerson was out with a knee. And those two guys are obviously extremely crucial for the Eagles. Jalen Carter's the team's best defensive lineman, and he's just been a beast for them this year in the middle of the line. And then Landon Dickerson is one of the best guards in the game, and with the Birds' offensive line already being a bit banged up, him missing practice definitely isn't great. And losing either one of those guys or both would surely be a big blow. But that being said, it is still early in the weekend. They got plenty of time to heal up in time for the game on Sunday. And actually, just as I'm about to post this video, news just came out that both Carter and Dickerson were seen at practice stretching, so they're both back in some capacity on Thursday, which is definitely a good sign for their availability on Sunday. And we'll just get a better idea of what their statuses for this game could look like, both today when the injury report comes out and also tomorrow. And you guys already know that I'm going to do my best to keep you updated on all that information, so again, if you don't want to miss any of that or just any other Eagles news throughout this entire entire season, then subscribe and turn on notifications. And also, again, while you're at it, make sure you drop a like if you did enjoy this video to show some support. It really does help me out a ton. Let's see if we can get to 600 likes today. And also leave a comment just regarding anything that I talked about in this video. And if you do want to watch another video going over some news from earlier in the week, you can check this out right here. And now with all that being said, that's pretty much what I got for this one, guys. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.